Hi, Olivia. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited to have you on this call and hear more about the work that you're doing. So, I'm wondering what kind of work, if you can introduce yourself, and what kind of work are you focused on right now?
Yeah, so I'm Olivia Wheeler. I'm a trusted Hive partner, and I'm focused on visual storytelling, specifically annual report design for nonprofits that are focused on access and opportunity.
I love it. That's amazing. And can you tell me more about what kind of led you into this work in the first place?
Yeah, so I started off my career early volunteering with a lot of different nonprofits like Girls Inc., an organization in Africa called Asante Africa. They help support people there. And then I just got this feeling of like this really homemade design, but like really strong mission, like helping people. And I wanted to be able to support that work. And so then I worked with more and more nonprofits and doing paid work. And then eventually I just was like, okay, what is a piece that people really need to like expand their outreach and their programs? And it always went back to annual report design since it's an annual thing. And so I thought, how can I take this one asset and help teams repurpose it and get the word out about their mission like year after year? And so that's my intentional path to annual report design.
That's amazing. And I feel that annual reports is something that every nonprofit does. Do they use it once? What do they do with it afterwards? Like, there's always so much intentionality and information that is shared in that annual report, and oftentimes it's shared once and then kind of forgotten about. And I've seen some of your work, and I love how you approach it. And it's not only beautiful, but it's also you can feel like there's almost like bite-sized ways that you can share the information that
Mhm.
you've kind of pulled together. So I love that piece of how you represent and bring those pieces together. So I'm
Mhm.
curious. I know your graphic design and there's lots of AI and all kinds of different unique kind of opportunities, I guess I'm going to say, for nonprofits now. And I'm wondering, might not be tied to it, but I'm curious, is there something that's feeling like especially challenging in the sector right now, specifically for graphic design, or just when you're talking to your clients? Is there something that's really a challenging obstacle that you're trying to overcome?
Yeah, I think just with how the world is now, I notice there are a lot of like comms teams that are getting cut or really downsized. And that means like communications are sometimes put on the back burner, which means design is still seen as not so much essential. Like I've been able to find like people that value design, but there are tons of organizations that just consider it a nice to have. So I think organizations seeing the value and then team members to actually be able to support comms is definitely a challenge. So that's why I'm big on like how do we take one thing and not reinvent the wheel. And I do what I can to have free resources and really share knowledge about why design is so important. But at the end of the day, there are always these priorities and like urgencies around things. But I think once people realize like branding and comms is so important to just build the reputation of an organization, I think they'll put more into it. But until then, it's like leadership. A lot of comms leaders have to still make the case to leadership why it's so important. So if I can equip marketing and communications directors with things that they can say, then I'm doing my part in it all.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think comms teams have a really challenging workspace right now in general. Like, they are
Mhm.
always the ones most everything has to go through their team at some point to make sure that it's on brand, that it's
Right.
on point. And then oftentimes, like with social media, it's like, "Oh, what about this channel? Of course you could add that to your portfolio. Yeah, no problem." And, like, there's just so much that I don't think the average person sees what gets put into comms, design, like all of these pieces. It's really thought through, and there's a reason why certain words are being said, or you've done your research
Mhm.
on why this lands with your donor base or your demographic more than a different word. potentially.
Mhm.
So I just think I value the comms a lot, and I just think they're sometimes underappreciated, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Totally, yes.
So I'm curious, what's bringing you hope or energy lately? With I know there's a lot of change happening in the sector specifically, and I'm just wondering what's giving you that hope right now.
Yeah. So for me, a big thing is my faith in God. So that like being the foundation of my life, but then also like communities like nonprofit Hive. I'm in some peer groups with folks doing similar things. And so just being able to come into spaces where, if someone's struggling, being able to encourage them, or if I want feedback on something, just having like partners brings me a lot of energy. And just to know like you're as a consultant or just solopreneurs, like if we're alone doing the work it could feel really isolating, but like when we come together it's like, oh wow, they're dealing with that too, or oh, what are the ways we can collaborate? So I think that genuine like community and fostering those relationships with people that I might not have if I wasn't in this certain spaces, I think is really energetic for me. um, and then also just doing the work with my clients, because at the end of the day they're doing some awesome work, and I get to use my skills for good and be creative, and then like see this final product that goes out and helps them with funding or get new partnerships. That's why I'm in business. So I get tons of energy from that too.
Agreed. I get very similar energies working and supporting nonprofits and the missions and what they're trying to accomplish for sure. And you did touch on this a little bit. And I'm wondering, why do you feel some of those spaces around connection and community matter so much in this work?
Yeah, so I feel like we're built for community just as people and just society. And so to go at it alone, I think would just be a disservice to us all. Like we need people to like walk through things with. Um, so I'm just so grateful for like the communities like nonprofit Hive, where it's like intentional, like you get to learn new things from people. Because I think collaboration is like where the best ideas can kind of come from, or you can feel challenged too in good ways. Like we all want to uplift one another and grow. And I think those intentional spaces allow for that to happen. Um, Otherwise, it really wouldn't.
Yeah, I agree. I think bringing in some of those different perspectives, and I like how you said challenge. Like it is okay to be challenged once in a while. Like that's what makes
Oh,
you
yeah.
grow, and that pushes you further along. So I really appreciate you bringing that point up. So I'm curious, where could people find you if they want to check out some of your work?
Yeah, so LinkedIn is where I try to be the most present. So I would say just typing in my name, Olivia Wheeler, I should pop up. But yeah, that's the best place to find me these days.
Amazing. That's awesome. Olivia, thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to see the work that you continue to do and all the inspiring annual reports that you get to develop.
Thank you very much.